Mayce Edward Christopher Chris Webber III is a retired American professional basketball player. He is a five-time NBA All-Star, a five-time All-NBA team member, a former NBA Rookie of the Year, and a former #1 overall NBA Draftee. As a collegiate athlete, he was an NCAA men's basketball first-team All-American and led the University of Michigan Wolverines' 1991 incoming freshman class known as the Fab Five that reached the 1992 and 1993 NCAA men's Division I basketball championship games as freshmen and sophomores. However, Webber was indicted by a federal grand jury and stripped of his All-American honors by the NCAA as a result of his direct involvement in the Ed Martin scandal. He is also a former National High School Basketball Player of the Year who led his high school Detroit Country Day to 3 Michigan State High School Basketball Championships. High school career: Webber attended Detroit Country Day School and at the time was the most recruited Michigan high school basketball player since Magic Johnson. Webber led Country Day to 3 MHSAA state championships. As a senior in high school, Webber averaged 29.4 points and 13 rebounds per game. He was named Michigan's Mr. Basketball and the 1990–1991 National High School Player of the Year. He was named MVP in both the McDonald's and Dapper Dan All-Star Games. College career: after graduating from Detroit Country Day School, Webber attended the University of Michigan for 2 years. While a Michigan Wolverine, Webber led the group of players known as the Fab Five, which included himself, June Howard, Jalen Rose, Jimmy King, and Ray Jackson. This group, all of whom entered Michigan as freshmen in the fall of 1991, took the basketball team to the NCAA Finals twice, losing both times. The Fab Five, sporting long, baggy shorts and black socks, became immensely popular as they were seen as bringing a hip-hop flavor to the game. 4 of the Fab Five made it to the NBA. On April 5, 1993, at Michigan's second consecutive NCAA Men's Division I basketball championship game with 11 seconds remaining, Webber brought the ball up the court into a half-court trap. Michigan was down 73-71. Webber attempted to call for a timeout while his team had none remaining, resulting in a technical foul that effectively clinched the game for North Carolina. Webber continues to receive ridicule for his timeout error. When he joined inside the NBA in 2008, part of the humorous initiation ceremony was the question in college basketball: how many timeouts do you get in a game? The game marked the end of Webber's acclaimed 2-year collegiate basketball career. In his second season, he was a first-team All-American selection and a finalist for the John R. Wooden Award and Naismith College Player of the Year. These awards and honors have been vacated due to University of Michigan and NCAA sanctions related to the University of Michigan basketball scandal. In that scandal, Webber received over $200,000 from a local booster while playing basketball for Michigan. Webber was convicted of perjury and banned from any affiliation with the Michigan program until 2013. Despite the ban, Webber attended the NCAA Men's Division I basketball championship game between Michigan and Louisville. He apparently watched the game from a private suite, rather than in the grandstands near courtside, where the other members of the Fab Five watched the game together. Webber posted on Twitter before the game, "I'm here at the Georgia Dome to show my support for the Michigan men's basketball team in its quest for a national championship. I've known some of the players on the team since they were kids and I am excited for them and all of the student athletes on the court tonight who are wearing the Michigan uniform. It has been a great season and I wish them all the best." NBA career: Webber was selected by the Orlando Magic with the first pick of the 1993 NBA Draft, becoming the first sophomore since Magic Johnson to be a #1 overall draft pick. The Magic immediately traded him to the Golden State Warriors in exchange for Anthony Hardaway and 3 future first-round draft picks. Over his 15-year NBA career, Webber made over $176 million. Golden State Warriors: Webber had an outstanding first year, averaging 17.5 points and 9.1 rebounds per game and winning the NBA Rookie of the Year award. He was instrumental in leading the Warriors back into the playoffs. However, he had a long-standing conflict with his coach, Don Nelson. Nelson wanted to make Webber primarily a post player, despite Webber's superb passing ability and good ball handling skills for someone his size at 6 ft 10 in tall. Webber also disliked playing a substantial amount of time at center, given Nelson's propensity towards smaller, faster lineups. In the 1994 off-season, the Warriors acquired Ronnie Sickerly so that Webber could play primarily at power forward. However, at the time, the differences between Webber and Nelson were considered to be irreconcilable. Webber exercised a one-year escape clause in his contract, stating he had no intention of returning to the Warriors. With few alternatives, Golden State agreed to a sign-and-trade deal, sending Webber to the Washington Bullets for forward Tom Gigliotta and 3 first-round draft picks. Washington Bullets Wizards. Webber was traded in his second year to the Washington Bullets, where he was reunited with his college teammate and friend, Juwan Howard. He spent the next 3 years with the Bullets, although in the 1995 Euro 96 season injuries limited him to only 15 games. Webber rebounded the following year and was named to his first All-Star team in 1997. The same season, Webber led the Bullets into the playoffs for the first time in 9 years, but they were swept by the Michael Jordan-led Chicago Bulls. By 1998, Webber had established himself as a great power forward, but his time in Washington had also worn out. Sacramento Kings. On May 14, 1998, Webber was traded to the Sacramento Kings for Mitch Richmond and Otis Thorpe. Although Webber originally did not want to go to Sacramento, as they were a perennially losing team, he would go on have his best years in Sacramento and nearly took the Kings to the NBA championship. When Webber arrived, the Kings also signed small forward Peja Stojakovic, center Vlade Divac and drafted point guard Jason Williams. In his first year with the Kings, Webber won the rebounding title averaging a league-high 13.0 rebounds per game, ending Dennis Rodman's 7-year run as the NBA's rebound leader. Under the guidance of Rick Edelman, the surprising Kings team made the playoffs, almost upsetting the veteran Utah Jazz. In years to come, Webber and the Kings became one of the league's top franchises, and NBA title contenders. He was named to the All-Star team again in 2000 and 2001 while cementing his status as one of the premier power forwards in the NBA. For the 1999 Euro 2000 NBA season, Webber was the cover athlete on NBA Jam 2000. Webber peaked in the 2000 Euro 01 season where he averaged a career-high 27.1 points. He also averaged 11.1 rebounds and was fourth in MVP voting. Webber was an All-NBA player 5 years in a row as a Sacramento King, making the first team in 2001 for the only time in his career. During the 2001 NBA playoffs, Webber and the Kings were defeated by the Los Angeles Lakers in 4 games during the second round. On July 27, 2001, Webber signed a $127 million, 7-year contract with the Kings. In the 2001 Euro 02 NBA season, Webber played in 54 games and helped lead the Kings to a Pacific Division title and a franchise record 61 Euro 21 season. He also made his 4th All-Star team and the All-NBA second team. The Kings reached the Western Conference Finals, against the defending champion Los Angeles Lakers. The Kings led the series 3 Euro 2 but eventually lost in 7 games. The 2002 Western Conference Final between the Sacramento Kings and Los Angeles Lakers was one of the most memorable in league history. The popular Kings led the 2-time defending NBA champion Lakers 3-2 heading into Game 6 at Staples Center, a game which would prove to be the most infamous of the series. The game, which the Lakers won by 4, featured many controversial calls, including a late-game foul on Mike Bibby after he was bleeding from being elbowed in the nose by Kobe Bryant. All told, the Lakers shot 27 free throws in the fourth quarter. This game was the epitome of the major issue in the series. Both teams complained about the officiating at different points in the series. The Kings would go on to lose Game 7 of the series at home. Former NBA referee Tim Donaghy filed in court papers in 2008 said that Game 6 was fixed by the NBA. NBA Commissioner David Stern denied Donaghy's allegations. Lawrence P. Davids, who led a review of the league's officiating following the outbreak of the scandal, concluded that while Game 6 was poorly officiated, no concrete evidence existed of it having been fixed. It would be the closest that Webber would ever get to a championship. The next season, Webber had another superb year, averaging 23 points and 11 rebounds per game. He was cited as a possible MVP candidate, and made his fifth consecutive All-Star team. In a bad sign of what was to come, Webber missed the All-Star game with a sprained ankle. Nevertheless, he returned and the Kings were among the favorites to win the NBA championship. In the second game of the 2003 Western Conference semifinals against the Dallas Mavericks, Webber suffered a career-threatening knee injury while running down the lane and touched that forced him to miss nearly a year of action. This shattered Sacramento's title hopes, and they would go on to lose the series in 7 games despite valiant efforts from teammates Bibby and Stojakovic. After microfracture surgery, he returned for the final 23 games of the 2003-04 season, but his athleticism, agility, and mobility were never the same. The injury turned out to be the turning point in Webber's career and he was traded a few months later. Philadelphia 76ers. In February 2005, Webber, along with Michael Bradley and Matt Barnes, were traded to the Philadelphia 76ers for power forward Kenny Thomas, forward center Brian Skinner, and former King Corliss Williamson. Webber took some time to fit in with the 76ers offense, where he was the second scoring option, behind Allen Iverson. He eventually helped catapult the Sixers to a berth in the 2005 playoffs, where the Sixers lost to the Detroit Pistons. However, they did not reach the playoffs in 2006, despite Webber putting up a resurgent 20 points and 10 rebounds per game. Because of the microfracture surgery on his knee, Webber lost his lateral quickness and jumping ability. While he still possessed offensive skills, he was seen as a defensive liability and was usually benched for the fourth quarters. This caused Webber to reportedly call for a trade. On Tuesday, April 18, 2006, Webber and Iverson were fined for not showing up at the Philadelphia 76ers' final home game of the season, which was Fan Appreciation Night, although both of them were injured and not expected to play. The following day they both apologized for being absent. During the 2006-07 season, Webber only played 18 of 35 games for the Sixers, leading the media to question his motivation. On January 11, 2007, Sixers GM Billy King announced that the Sixers and Webber had agreed to a reported $25 a million contract buyout on the remaining 2 years left on his contract, in effect paying him not to play. Later that day, the Sixers waived Webber, making him a free agent. Detroit Pistons. On January 16, 2007, Webber signed with the Detroit Pistons. He has stated throughout his career that he always wanted to play for his hometown team. His usual number 4 had been retired in honor of Joe Dumars, so Webber donned the number 84, because his nephew had a dream of him making a buzzer beater with that number on. The Pistons were a much improved basketball team after Webber's acquisition, improving their record in the Eastern Conference and solidifying the first seed in the East. However, the Eastern Conference favorites failed to advance to the finals after losing to the Cleveland Cavaliers in 6 games in the Eastern Conference Finals, leaving Webber short of an NBA Finals appearance yet again. Indeed, Webber performed well in the 2007 NBA playoffs despite receiving limited minutes. Webber still managed to average 10 points and 6 rebounds per game in the playoffs and shot an impressive 52.4% from the field. His efforts were highlighted by a Game 5 performance in the Eastern Conference Finals in which Webber scored 20 points on 9 of 13 shooting and grabbed 7 boards. Nevertheless, Detroit still lost what turned out to be the key game in the series in double overtime, and Webber ended up averaging a career-low 11.2 ppg in his run with the Pistons. During the off-season, Detroit did not resign Webber. Despite receiving lucrative proposals from teams in Europe, he was in free agency at the beginning of the regular season. Second run with Warriors and subsequent retirement. On January 29, 2008, the Golden State Warriors signed Webber for the rest of the season. Terms of the deal were not disclosed, but the San Francisco Chronicle reported that he would receive the pro-rated veterans minimum of $1.2 million. This came after a rejected offer by the Los Angeles Lakers, who were trying to coax Webber in with 2 10-day contracts so they could decide afterwards if they wanted him the rest of the season. This also put to rest talks of joining the Detroit Pistons, Dallas Mavericks, or retirement. He played in only 9 games for the Warriors, averaging 3.9 points and 3.6 rebounds in 14 minutes per game. On March 25, 2008, Webber officially retired from basketball due to persistent problems with his surgically repaired knee and was waived by the Warriors. On March 27, 2008, Webber made his first appearance on television on Inside the NBA on TNT, alongside Charles Barkley and host Ernie Johnson. On April 25, 2008, TNT offered Webber a job to be a commentator for the postseason. On February 6, 2009, Webber returned to Arco Arena, home of the Sacramento Kings, to participate in the ceremonies surrounding the retirement of his jersey, number 4. Legal trouble. In 1998, Webber was arrested and charged with second-degree assault, resisting arrest, possession of marijuana, driving under the influence of marijuana, and 5 other traffic-related violations after being pulled over for speeding on the way to the practice center at the MCI Center in downtown Washington, D.C. Webber was eventually acquitted by a jury of the assault, resisting arrest, possession of marijuana and driving under the influence charges, and paid $560 in fines for lesser violations. Later in 1998, during the off-season, while leaving Puerto Rico on a promotional tour for Fila sneakers, Webber paid a $500 fine after U.S. Customs found marijuana in his bag. Soon after, Fila dropped Webber as an endorser. Webber sued Fila for wrongful dismissal, but the case was thrown out of court. University of Michigan basketball scandal. In 2002, Webber was charged for lying to a grand jury as part of a larger investigation of a numbers gambling operation, run by University of Michigan basketball program booster Ed Martin, in Ford Motor Company plants in the Detroit area. The investigation, originally focused on the numbers operation and tax evasion, soon widened to include the University of Michigan basketball program. Martin was convicted on counts of tax evasion and robbery and was scheduled to testify on the financial connections between himself and Webber at a sentencing hearing, but died of a heart attack before the hearing. As a result of evidence admitted during the course of Martin's trial, Webber pled guilty to 1 count of criminal contempt for lying about his role in a scandal in which 4 players, including himself, had accepted illicit loans from Martin. Martin had been giving money to Webber since the 8th grade. He admitted in the plea that in 1994 he gave Martin about $38,000 in cash as partial repayment for expenditures Martin made on his behalf. He was ordered to pay $100,000 and perform 330 hours of community service. Due to concerns that Webber's amateur status had been compromised, Michigan forfeited its victory in the 1992 Final Four over Cincinnati, as well as its runner-up status in the 1992 tourney. Michigan also forfeited the entire 1992 Euro 93 season, removed the 1992 and 1993 Final Four banners from the Chrysler Arena rafters, and deleted Webber's records from its record book. The NCAA also ordered Michigan to disassociate itself from Webber until 2013. Webber later called Michigan's decision hurtful, because he and his Fab Five teammates gave everything to Michigan while they played there. After Webber's plea, the Michigan State High School Athletic Association recommended that Detroit Country Day forfeit all games in which Webber appeared, since according to his own admission, Webber had been accepting money from Martin since junior high school. The school conducted its own investigation, and called a press conference to announce it had found no credible evidence that Webber had accepted substantial amounts of cash from Martin while in high school, and therefore refused to forfeit any games. The MHSAA claimed it had no legal authority to force the games to be forfeited. Webber was suspended by the NBA for a total of 8 games Euro 5 for an unnamed violation of the league's substance abuse policies and 3 for lying to the grand jury. Webber received the suspensions once he recovered from an injury that kept him out for half of the 2003 Euro 04 season. The scandal was explored in a documentary by ESPN Films called The Fab Five, which aired in March 2011. Webber declined to participate. Legacy: Webber averaged 20.7 points, 9.8 rebounds, and 4.2 assists during his NBA career. The Golden State Warriors did not make the playoffs during the first 12 years after they traded Webber. In 1997, he led Washington to their first playoff appearance since 1989. They would not reach the playoffs again until 2005, 7 years after trading Webber. Prior to Webber's arrival in 1998, the Kings made the playoffs only twice since they moved to Sacramento from Kansas City in 1985. Webber was ranked number 64 in Slam magazine's top 75 NBA players of all time in 2003. He was ranked number 11 in an ESPN.com experts poll of the top power forwards of all time in 2005 and ranked number 72 on a list of the top 96 NBA players of all time in Bill Simmons' bestseller The Book of Basketball, The NBA According to the Sports Guy, published in 2009. The Sacramento Kings retired Webber's number 4 jersey on February 6, 2009 when the Kings hosted the Utah Jazz. Post-basketball life: since retiring from the NBA, Webber has become an analyst on NBA TV's NBA Game Time Live. He does the Tuesday Fan Night alongside Ernie Johnson and Kevin McHale, now the head coach of the Houston Rockets. He also served as an occasional guest analyst on TNT's Inside the NBA during the 2008-09 season. During Charles Barkley's leave of absence, Webber substituted for him along with other guests such as Gary Payton and Mike Fratello. Webber has also expressed interests in eventually becoming a Grambling owner. Webber has also stated he is working on a book. Outside of basketball, Webber has been active in his investment company representing basketball and football players, real estate, and film projects. In 2011, it was reported that that company had lined up investors to build the Kings a new arena. Webber was the owner of Center Court with C. Webb, a restaurant in Sacramento, California. The restaurant closed on November 17, 2009. Earlier that year, Webber married his longtime girlfriend Erica Dates during a private ceremony at his Atlanta home. In attendance were 200 guests including family and close friends. Webber has also tried his hand at music production, producing Nas's track Surviving the Times from his Greatest Hits album. African American Artifacts: Webber has a personal collection of African American artifacts which he began collecting in 1994. Upon entering the NBA, he began collecting artifacts, starting with the purchase of 2 slave records. Webber believes that these artifacts are a reflection of his beliefs and aspirations. He initially collected them as encouragements to face life obstacles. However, he had no intentions on exhibiting them until the growth of his collection prompted additional storage. His collection includes an original 1901 publication of an autobiography by Booker T. Washington, various documents, letters, and postcards signed by Frederick Douglass, Martin Luther King Jr., and Malcolm X. When not on public exhibit, the artifacts are stored at the Sacramento Public Library's archival vault. In previous years, the Chris Webber collection has previously been featured in Crocker Art Museum and Wayne State University. On June 28, 2007, Webber unveiled his collection of African American artifacts during the Celebrating Heritage exhibition at Charles H. Wright Museum of African American History in Detroit. During a news conference, Webber said he believed that children can learn from these artifacts. Hopefully, when children see them they will see there is no excuse for us not to be successful. There's no excuse not to find something that you love to do. There's no excuse to not work hard at it. Charity: Webber is active in various charities and created the Time Out Foundation in 1993. The foundation's mission is to provide positive educational and recreational opportunities to youth. In 1999, Webber created C. Webb's Crew, where a group of tickets at every Kings regular home season game would be donated to at-risk youth and their families. To date, over 3,000 youths and their families have attended a game through C. Webb's Crew. Community awards Webber has won include the inaugural Sacramento Kings Oscar Robertson Triple-Double Award, which is annually awarded to a Kings player who exemplifies team leadership, all-around game, and sportsmanship. The NBA Community Assist Award for his contributions in February 2003, and the Wishmaker of the Year in 2003 awarded by the Sacramento chapter of the Make-A-Wish Foundation. More recently, Webber held a celebrity weekend, Barbara Bling, at the Caesars Palace Hotel in Las Vegas. The event was held from July 28 to Euro 30, 2006 and included a live auction and celebrity poker tournament. Many renowned NBA players participated including then-current and former teammates, Mike Bibby, Brad Miller, Andre Iguodala, Bobby Jackson, Kyle Korver, and his then-current coach, Morris Cheeks. Other notable participants included Charles Barkley, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Gary Payton, Kenny Smith, Moses Malone, and Stephen Marbury. Numerous entertainers attended as well such as Nas and Common. All of the proceeds were donated to the Time Out Foundation. Webber hosted his second annual Barbara Bling charity weekend from July 20 to Euro 22, 2007 at Caesars Palace in Las Vegas. Discography: Webber also has produced hip-hop records, including 2 songs for rapper Nas, Blunt Ashes, and Surviving the Times. Awards: 5-time All-Star, 5-time All-NBA, a Euro 2001 First Team, 1999, 2002 and 2003 Second Team, 2000 Third Team, All-Rookie NBA, a Euro 1994, 1994 NBA Rookie of the Year, 1990 a Euro 1991 National High School Player of the Year, Jerseys, number 44 Detroit Country Day School, number 4 Sacramento Kings, 1999 NBA Rebounding Champ, NBA Career Statistics, Regular Season, Playoffs. See also, List of National Basketball Association Season Rebounding Leaders, References. External links, career statistics and player information from NBA.com, Chris Webber at basketball-reference.com, Chris Webber at databasebasketball.com, Washington Post, Bullets negotiating with Warriors for Webber, Chris Webber's official site, University of Michigan Basketball Statistical Archive.